To start the home studio series of videos, I figured the best place to begin would be the design idea. I wanted to have a control room for the console and a keyboard workstation, a live room for the performance area, and a separate gear space to house the computers so the sound would not intrude into the control room or live room spaces. I also wanted to have the glass view into the live room. Since building the studio, I've visited several studio spaces that have the console and the engineer located in the same space. And as the musicians work, this seems to be just fine for them. I still prefer the separate control room though, not just for the isolation, but I really like the vibe of Through the Glass studio. It seems more professional to me, but it did create some design issues and increased the difficulty in building the rooms. Here's the basic shape of the studio I envisioned. I wanted a live room at one end for the musicians. So this area would be where the band would set up. I wanted a control room where I could put my console and see through the glass into the live room area. I needed an area to store the gear so the computers would not be making a big fan noise intruding into the control room space. I needed an area for a computer workstation, keyboard workstation rather. This is where I keep my Kurzweil in the studio, and computer monitors are on this wall up here. I was going to put this on one end of the new house Mindy and I were building, and it would be 17 foot this way and 25 foot this way total. The gear area started out as a vocal booth, but I changed my mind on that because I needed to control the computer fan issues, and I didn't think I'd be having that many live vocals. And as it turns out, live vocals in the live room area work just fine. Here's the plan I submitted for a building permit. As you can see, it shows the original idea before I decided to change the angled wall to get more space in the live room and to change the vocal booth into a gear closet. Here's the field where we would build after scraping off the corn. I used radiant heat for the whole house. It's super efficient and very quiet. Mindy and I were on our knees for about a week installing 4,000 linear feet of tubing. That's the studio in the foreground. You can see the space between the control room and the live room. Isolating the concrete slabs at the glass wall would stop the transfer of low-end vibrations through the concrete into the control room. I used an expansion joint in the floor slab to create this separation and lined it up just in the center of where the dividing wall would be. Soundproofing the space was a concern, of course. I designed the whole house with 2x6 framed walls and a brick veneer. The total wall thickness ended up being about 11.5 inches. Here's how the wall looks. We have a 2x6 plate. In the studio area, 2 layers of 5/8 inch drywall. A layer of 1/2 inch CDX substrate, a 1 inch air space, and then a 4 inch brick veneer. Here's a photo of some of the framing going on. In the studio, with the 2 layers of 5/8, the walls are a little over 12 inches thick. All the walls are insulated with a R19 batt insulation. The wall separating the rooms is built using 2 separate framed 2x3 walls with a space between, and 2 layers of 5/8 inch drywall on either side. I split the walls over the expansion joint in the slab, and I also separated the window jamb into two halves and filled the space with the silicone caulking. The glass pieces are laminated safety glass with a dead air space in between. The plastic layer in the safety glass construction is very helpful in creating a sound barrier. The doors between the control room and live room are two solid core slabs opening in opposite directions. I used metal strips with rubber gaskets to help seal the doors. There are very elaborate and expensive devices that will automatically drop down when you close a door to seal the bottom, but I just put a piece of foam material there while I'm recording. In all honesty, the sound isolation has never been a problem. The weakest link in the system is the ceiling. I used scissor trusses so I could have taller ceilings with 1.5 inches of drywall inside. Placed lots of insulation in the truss space and a 1/2 inch plywood sheathing on the roof with asphalt shingles. This is the area where I can occasionally hear a truck go by outside, but again, it's not been an issue with recording. The levels generated by instruments have always been more than enough to mask anything coming from the outside. I suppose recording a very soft flute part at just the moment a semi blasted by would require a new take, but it hasn't happened so far. The gear closet is a small space. I wish now that it were larger. I keep the computer gear in there, and I separate that space from the control room with a glass storefront door. To make sure it stays cool enough, there is a vent into the clothes closet area beyond, and a thermostatically controlled ceiling fan that comes on if it gets above 75 degrees in the space. This vents the air it pulls from the master bedroom closet through the gear closet and up into the roof trusses, and keeps the gear very comfortable. For flooring, I used an industrial carpet without a pad in the control room and a hard parquet flooring in the live room so it would be easy to roll the gear around. Throw rugs help dampen reflections. I won't go into the acoustic treatments in this video as that's a really involved topic that I'll discuss later. So that's the studio, from paper to being framed and closed in. Come back later to see more of how Crafty Hands was built, and be sure to enroll in the backstage area of the website to access the ongoing project videos and archived concert downloads. Thanks for watching. Remember, listen to music. It will make you better.